Today's voiceover talent is more than just a pretty voice.
Pretty voice.
Today's voiceover talent has to be a boss.
A boss.
Join us each week for business owner strategies and success with your hosts Ann Ganguzza and Gabrielle Nistico, along with some of the strongest voices in our industry.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Rock your business.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss.
Rock your business like a boss. A VO boss.
A VO boss.
A VO boss.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the VO Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Ann Ganguzza, along with my VO Boss bestie, Gabby Nistico. Damn, I made a mistake. Sorry, Gabby.
And how
Gabby
do you feel
Nistico.
about that mistake?
Yeah, I'm owning it. I am owning that mistake.
Because you know what? You're human. We make mistakes. It happens.
And we are very well aware of that, especially when you play Outtakes. How many mistakes does Anne make? Quite a few. I think that making mistakes and owning up to them is a part of your professional growth as a entrepreneur. I know there's so many of my students and I know yours too. They're so scared of making a mistake.
Terrified. And it becomes like a session stuck point. People will make a mistake. They will linger on it. I had a teacher years ago who called it the avalanche effect. It was a snowball, and the snowball would start rolling downhill, and it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, it was like the mountain just falls on top of you, and it's because you're, in a sense, you're allowing it to happen. You make the mistake, and you get flustered, you get frustrated, you get frazzled, then you make the mistake again or again or again. Guys, it's part of this job. I mean, any voice actor who tells you that they've never gotten tongue-tied or hung up on a phrase, they're full of
Oh, it happens all the time. And then you just get into a rut with it. And then it becomes...
You're Pete and repeat at that point.
We're here to say it's okay, guys. It does happen. And it happens in front of clients. But can you imagine, Gabby? Like, thankfully, I mean, I do a ton of my work here in my home studio. And I know you do probably more directed work than I do. It's okay. I think I'm comfortable with making mistakes and owning them, even if I am in front of a client, which really helps because I have been in the situation where a long time ago when I really became panicked by it. And then it just makes you look less than professional because you're not handling the emotional aspect of the mistake well enough to actually continue with the session.
Exactly. The people in the session, with the client, the writer, the engineer, producers, directors, whoever's there, it should not then become their job to have to emotionally talk you down.
Yeah, right.
And
make
de-escalate you so that you can get back to the business at hand. For the majority of us, when you're used to, home recording, working from home, right? You're cool, you're calm, you're collected. It's your space, it's your environment. You know exactly what's going on. You make a mistake, no big, you keep going. That exact same thought process has to be replicated.
Yes, in the studio.
When there's a client on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Or anywhere that someone else is a part of your session. The Voice Acting Academy out of San Diego, and James Alberger, he has a sorry jar. And I've always loved this concept because he talks about in his classes how students will waste so much time apologizing for their mistakes in a session that it's a rule at his facility. You if you screw up and you say you're sorry, you have to put $1 in the sorry jar.
Gabby, I did a great example of that in the beginning of the podcast. I said I was sorry, and guess what? Guess how much time I wasted?
It's collective, right? If you add them all up at the end of a session, you'll have like 5 minutes of somebody apologizing. And it's like, dude, let it go.
Yeah. And we even had a podcast episode on sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. You can't let that kind of rule what's happening. The biggest thing, I think, for especially the newer folks is stop trying to avoid making mistakes. No one expects you to be perfect.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Because that's not, you can't help it. Like, we're human.
You don't grow from that. If you try to avoid making a mistake in the first place, you never grow from that. You never learn from that. You have to be okay with the fact that you're going to make a mistake. And sometimes you're going to make that mistake over and over and over and over again.
Now, so there's making a mistake where you're actually, like, you can't get a word out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're tongue-tied.
Exactly.
You're tongue-tied.
Yes. Tongue-tied.
Yeah,
Yes.
tongue-tied. And there's also where you're not necessarily taking the direction the client is giving you. So, this is the classic, like you're talking to your girlfriend, and they want you to be more conversational.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, Gabby, I had a session the other day where they asked for conversational, and then they said, actually, can you give me a little bit more sell on that?
Yeah.
So
well,
I was
that's happening all the time, yeah.
How great is it that I was able to at least give them the conversational they asked for, and they recognized it? So the difference being, well, they're both performance related, but I think there's more, perceived shame when you can't seem to follow the direction that they're giving you. So what are your tips for that?
One is repeat their direction back to them. That's a really great way to just, okay, let me make sure I understand you want me to, and express it in your own words. They will tell you, they will let you know, we were thinking more like this. Okay, great. You get clarity. Another option is to simply go, I'm not sure I'm clear on what you're looking for. Could you repeat that? Could you tell me that again? It forces them to maybe think of a new way to say it.
Well, because sometimes they don't necessarily know what they're looking for either. And so when they're describing what they want you to do, they're also formulating it in their own head. I would say if you thought of it as a constructive discussion about the direction, that's better than thinking you've made a mistake and not giving them what they've asked for.
Yeah.
Because the majority of the time, they don't know what they're looking for, and they don't quite know how to ask for it either. Right. So if you think of it as a constructive discussion between the two of you, I think that will help you to not go into the panic mode of, oh my God, I suck. Because that's the thing. When they say, well, no, can you, and they keep giving you different direction. And internally, I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, God, I suck. I don't know what they're asking. I don't know. And there's that panic, like, what do they want? What do they want? How am I not? I don't get it. I don't understand. And then that just really starts to affect your performance.
When that's happening, you've stopped listening.
Yeah.
You're no longer listening to them. You're listening to the voice in your head.
Yeah, that internal, panic.
Yep. It's the itty bitty committee.
Yes. Oh my God. I haven't heard that in so long.
They live in all of us. It's that collective consciousness of, you suck. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't be here. You don't deserve to be here, whatever that is. And if we start to listen to that, we're no longer present and accountable to what the client is telling us. I also think, the shame piece that you bring up.
Oh, yeah, right.
That is just a big freaking word. Yeah. And it's a heavy word.
It's a hard word.
It is. But you're right in that a lot of it's shame, it's embarrassment.
Yeah.
Think about your own children, right? Or your spouse or significant other or whatever. If somebody you love makes a mistake, what do you tell them?
Well, yeah, you're supportive. You're okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's
what
okay.
do you say? It's okay.
I'm here.
It's all right.
Don't worry about it.
Not a big deal. We'll get it right the next time. It's okay, right? What you're basically doing is you're taking power away from the gravity of the mistake. You're helping them to get past that and realize it's not catastrophic. It is going to be okay. We try again. You got to tell yourself that.
I just listened to a podcast with Brene Brown the other day.
Love
that
her.
is what she spent her most of her career studying is shame.
That's right.
She has a great TED Talk. She's got a great book out there. Definitely, I would say listen to her if you can. She is amazing. And yeah, shame is just...
And if anybody knows her, for the love of God, get her to us, because I would love to have her on this podcast.
I was totally thinking about that. I was totally thinking, how am I going to get Brene Brown to come on this podcast?
We're gonna put it out there right now.
Yeah, there we go. We're manifesting it. But
we need Brene to come be a guest boss, because she is.
Exactly. That emotional aspect of, oh my God, I've made a mistake. I suck. And that shame, you have to breathe, not listen. Mm-hmm. I know it's very difficult, but try not to listen and realize that sometimes the person on the other side of the glass may be kind of a jerk. There's a lot to be said for,
You're right.
what goes on the other side of the glass. Sometimes there actually can be a jerk on the other side of the glass.
There can be.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's not the typical encounter.
No,
it's
not. It's not.
No. The majority of your clients, while you are stuck in a mistake pattern, whether it be tongue-tied or, whatever's going on, maybe it's a word that you're just reading improperly, whatever. While that is happening, I want you to realize that the majority of your clients are thinking, God, what they do is so hard. I could never do that.
Yeah, exactly.
They're empathizing.
Wait, perhaps I didn't explain it right.
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They feel empathy. They're not sitting there going, oh, God, who did we hire?
Here's, Gabby, where I was heading. The majority of people are not jerks on the other side. They want to help you, right?
Yeah.
But if it turns instead to them where it feels like they don't know how to direct or that they are not saying the right things to get you to where they want you to be, that internalizes in them and makes them feel frustrated. Well, I don't understand why this is so hard. I'm asking you for this. And so... And that also has to do with the level of experience. There's the engineer who is working on the engineering aspect of the audio. And then there could be any number of clients there. There could be a casting director, which is used to working with talent, understanding what happens in the studio on a day-to-day basis. And then there might be a client who's never sat on the other side of the glass before. Those are the ones that typically can be the wild card, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to directing. They just have never witnessed somebody doing a voiceover in the booth before. And if there is a stumble, that's absolutely normal.
It is. And that's how most people see it. I'm going to suggest this as well. Part of why mistakes become such a stuck point for actors is because we refuse to acknowledge them. We get embarrassed and flustered and we just don't acknowledge them. Now, I'm not talking about acknowledging them by saying sorry. Well, this is what I do. So I've talked about my dog clicker before. Because the same way you use it to correct a dog's behavior, I use it to correct my own behavior in a sense and do take markers at the same time. So when I'm reading, I have the dog clicker in my hand. And if I make a mistake or I stumble, I force myself to and do it again. Just like that. I don't say anything. There's no sorry. Rarely will I say the words pick up. Just do it again.
So I think if you're in the booth in a live direction situation where that happens, I think you need to have your mental clicker.
Yes.
Where you basically just reset. You say nothing. You don't apologize.
Do it again.
Accept it and say, well, that's normal. Because when you're in the booth and you're clicking, like, I don't think twice.
No.
It's just something that happens. So that same action, do the mental clicker in your head.
It simply gets you used to acknowledging it, correcting it, moving on from it. So it just becomes another part of your job and another part of the workday. And you're not giving it any additional attention that it doesn't need or warrant.
Gabby, you bring up a good point, too. You don't say pickup. I know so many talent who say pickup. I don't buy into that when I'm being directed live in the studio. I simply just stop and restart from the most convenient part of the paragraph and understanding that the engineer I'm working with is probably, at that same level. They might ask me for a pickup, but I won't. If I stumble, I will not say pickup.
We should be able to feel secure that if there is an engineer recording the session, they are making their own take markers. They are using the software that they have at their fingertips to create the take marker, and they are keeping record of where those takes are and where any mistakes happened. The pickup process and verbalizing that came from the fact that if you're self-recording, we didn't always have a way to do it. So we would get into the habit of saying pickup, so we had a point in the audio we could recognize. Now, a lot of us can do our own take markers in our booths because we have wireless mice and monitors. We have the dog clicker process. We have,
which
some
gives
people
you
just
a spike, which I think is super. A snap,
exactly.
Anything that gives you a spike. Pick up.
Way more
just
helpful.
Saying the word pick up doesn't produce a spike unless you're going to go pick up, and you're like
exactly
really crazy.
Exactly. No, but it gives you something that you can at least visually see. But the spike is way more helpful.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I think that process came from. But no, I haven't said that consistently in a session for years and years and years. There's other methods.
Me either. Yep. I assume that the engineer and I are in sync, and I don't need to say the word pickup. And I assume that the engineer is a professional and will be making their own markers, as you mentioned, and doesn't need the word pickup because it doesn't help him at all.
There's a beautiful choreography that takes place between the talent and the engineer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And when they understand one another,
it's
just
a dance.
Flawless.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful to watch. And again, don't give your mistakes any more attention or emotional recognition than they deserve. Don't sigh it out. Don't groan. Don't grunt. Because any of those things, they immediately throw your performance. Yeah. Immediately.
If you really had a problem with a word, you're really in a rut, after maybe 5 times or 6 times, if it becomes evident that you are in a rut, ask, do you mind if we continue? And then we'll come back to it later.
That's one way, yeah.
I seem to be in a rut. Would you mind? Let's just continue. And could I do a pickup later?
It's that, or I just go, guys, I need 2 seconds. And I will turn my back on the mic and just say the word over and over and over and over and over and over again until my mouth and my brain are cooperating.
Yeah.
Guys, we're human.
We are human. Nobody expects us to be superhuman.
No. The definition of voice actor does not mean flawless, perfect speaker who never makes mistake. No.
You just made one. Just saying.
I can name some companies that never make mistakes, though. Never. Never, ever.
Never, ever. Never, ever. One of them, our favorite sponsor, IPDTL.com. If you've never met Kevin or spoken to Kevin, he's so knowledgeable. I mean, just every day he blows me away. If he makes a mistake, he will absolutely own up to it. You can check out IPDTL.com.
And then there are companies that see the mistakes others are making and resign themselves to doing it better.
There you go.
And that brings us to our good friends at voiceovers.com. Fair, efficient, transparent, your voice, your way. Please go check them out, voiceovers.com. Yes. And hey guys, share some of your crazy mistakes with us. We've all made them. We've all been there.
Oh yeah. That'll be fun.
There are so many great and hilarious stories out there, and I think it would be really fun to post those.
Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Join us next week for another edition of VO Boss with your hosts, Ann Ganguzza and Gabby Nistico. All rights reserved. Ann Ganguzza voice talent in association with 3 Moon Media. Redistribution with permission. Coast-to-coast connectivity via IPDTL.
Hello!
Oh my.
Wait, that's a bad microphone.
Jesus
microphone. That was the wrong...
That's
my MacBook Pro microphone.
Wow. Take a 2.
Hold on, I'm going to sneeze.
Explode. Would you hurry up and explode already? Wow. That was a good one.
That was off mic.
I'd have peed myself.
Oh my God, let me make sure that I'm recording.
Let me make sure I didn't pee my pants. Hold on.
So...
Please, I'd like to think I have 20 more years before a boys commercial, but realistically... Oh, damn it. The Golden Girls of voiceover. Today's geriatric edition. But, hold on.
Oh, my God.
Choking on my own spit.
I just caught your lung over here.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell just happened.
Got it. There, I got it.
I'm back. Okay.
Damn it, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Crap. Gabby, did you say ass clown?
Yes, I said ass clown. Because we have a flash flood warning alert thing, and the Weather Channel, ass clowns. That's all.
Yeah. They're ass clowns. What is like an actual ass clown? Why? Where did that term come from? Ass clown?
I don't know, but I know that there is an ass clown brewery. And I love them because what's not to love?
Ass Clown Brewery.
Ass Clown Brewery is a real place.
All about the coffee.
Coffee all the time. Coffee all the time.
I'm hanging my head out the studio because it's hot.
Like a dog? What do you...
Yeah.
Oh,
my
you're
tongue
panting.
be wagging out the door like a dog.
Oh, my Anna's panting.
Because it's hot in here. It's
you.
getting hot in here.
Oh, boy. And then you perform a take, and then, there's either the silence or there's a little bit of back and forth, and then somebody barks a new direction at you, and then it's, okay, rolling, take 2.
Hey, Gabby. I don't think I pressed record.
No, you did not. Are you me right now?
Yeah, I'm not you.
I mean, I have the first 11 minutes.
Oh.
You suck ass.
I do suck. Oh my God, I suck. Ah!
don't assume that just because you can't see them, they can't see you. I've learned the hard way that a handful of studios I've been to have had camera systems.
Oh my gosh.
And
yes,
I
and
was
they
on
can see
camera
you.
and didn't know it. Yeah, and I always send James a selfie when I leave
And
when
so
I'm
you're
in
making
another
faces,
studio.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so I'm making like kissy face into like at my phone
Duck face.
and
Duck face into your phone. Oh my gosh.
and I hear the engineer go, "Are you taking a selfie?" And I swear to God, I about jumped out of my skin. I was like, "How the?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we have a closed circuit in here." Damn it!
You know, that's for
Yeah.
insurance purposes, Gabby, because
Yeah,
if something were to
yeah.
happen in the booth, right, they have to have a record
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, you know what?
Probably.
And then I'm sitting there going, "Did I pick a wedgie? Have I what embarrassing thing have I done in the last 10
try
minutes
not to
that
do anything
this guy
embarrassing.
totally saw now?" I don't
What
know.
if you got into an accident? You want to make sure you have clean underwear on. That was my
but,
mother.
You know, she's right, but sometimes you have to adjust a boob or something. I mean, you know, it happens.
All right, guys. And I was... Damn it. You have to cut this out. So.
That's fine.
And another person drinking from the Boss mug that I would like to give a great big shout out to, who happens to be in Amsterdam at the same show as my husband, by the way, and that is
Aw.
Kevin from IPDTL. You too can connect and network like a boss and connect with studios just like we're doing right now, and just
Yeah.
like Rick did, and we can connect with studios and get directed. And I don't know, you're gonna have to like completely like put this in an outtake because just babbling on and on and on.
Listen, all I have images of right now is like this Boss fountain, and we're all like everybody drinking from the fountain of Boss.
Drink
So
from the
thank you for
fountain
that.
of Boss.
Oh my Lord.
Drink coffee from the fountain of Boss.
Yeah, well, that's all that would flow. That's
I
it.
like
that
that.
or whiskey. There's no other
coffee,
choice, really.
coffee and whiskey, or coffee and Bailey's from the fountain of Boss. There you go.
Oh my God. You're frazzled.
I know, right? Is it going to be horrible?
No, I can make this work. I
It's
can totally
a
make
good
it work.
episode, I think.
It
You're
is
just
a good
gonna have
episode.
to like retake me. You're
It's
gonna have to
just,
like cut me
it's
out.
just hilarious to see you get frazzled. Hilarious.
I don't have enough boxes.
I'm sorry.
It's very stressful.
Can't you call somebody to bring you boxes?
Oh, they're on order from Amazon. And I got frantic, so I ordered another set that's coming tomorrow, and now 2 sets are coming tomorrow.
I don't understand this.
And
Okay.
I ordered shrink wrap,
Who
Gabby.
who are you? Who have you become that you order? Who orders boxes? You go to the grocery store and you go get the boxes.
I tried in California. They don't. There's
you
only certain
shitting me?
days.
What?
Yeah, there's the 2
What?
places that I asked. There's only certain days, and I'm like, "Do you have any extra boxes?" They're like, "We won't have them until Tuesday, so you can come back." I'm like, "Screw that! I'm not."
That's
coming back."
bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. Freaky Californians.